Good morning, my beautiful people. Today is day one of Celtic Advent. Today's November 15th. So in the Celtic tradition, we celebrate Advent for 40 days, as opposed to the 4 weeks that other traditions follow. This is a Christian tradition, but you are welcome to replace my Christian words and symbols with whatever is most meaningful to you. This is a welcoming space for people of all faiths or non-faiths, and I truly believe that we are all meant to bring light and love into the world, no matter what we call it. So somebody the other day explained it. I wish I could remember who this was, because I would like to give the attribution. But, religion is like a giant plate, and we are all pieces, like it's a broken plate, but we're all pieces of that same plate. And I believe that. I believe that we're all here for the same goodness, right? So whatever you call it, you can exchange my words for whatever words bring meaning to you. So today, this Advent calendar was built by Grok. I tweaked it a lot, and I really do like it. I started working with it already, and so to kind of get a rhythm of how I wanted to do things. So it suggests a daily rhythm, so rise and face east, which for me, I'm facing east right now. And then light a candle, one beeswax candle every Sunday. I'm choosing not to use beeswax. I'm choosing to use a chakra candle that I have, that I'm going to light the same candle every single day and throughout my Celtic celebration of Advent. And so I said a prayer as I lit this, and I have it sitting right next to me. And then it says to read the essay aloud, but it doesn't actually say what essay it is. It gives you an essay snippet later. So I'm assuming this comes from an essay, so I guess I'd have to look that up to see what essay it comes from. And then there's a prayer that they give you that you say 3 times, and then you sing or listen to the hymn, which I did, and I will provide the link to the hymn below so that you can listen to it. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's sung in Gaelic, and it's called the Christ Child Lullaby. It's absolutely beautiful. And then there's a journal prompt, and then a Gaelic phrase, so that you can study that. And then the English translation, and then with the source of where it come from, and then I can put my journal entry here. So I'm going to do all of these things with you as I promised. I did kind of get some things started ahead of time, just to make our time together more meaningful. So I've lit the candle, and I'm reading the snippet of the essay. And this day, so Saint Machar was one of the monks that came with Iona. I'm sorry, one of the monks who came with Colum Cille to Iona, and he was also the son of a wealthy guy. So here you have these two guys, these two kids who are the sons of wealthy guys, right? There's been a war because Colum Cille copied a psalter from his teacher after being told not to. And you kind of have to wrap your head around that, right? There weren't printing presses. So if you wanted something in writing, you had to write it yourself. So you would have had to copy it, or you would have had to write it. So I don't know how I feel about this war, because I feel I'm an open source educator. So I kind of feel like our goal is to share this stuff. Why wouldn't you want somebody to copy the Psalms? Those are God's words. Those aren't your words. Why wouldn't you want somebody else, a student, to copy that and have that for themselves? But whatever. So here are these two kids who are wealthy. They have everything. And then all of a sudden, everything changes, and they have to get in a boat and leave. Right? Now, Saint Machar, he didn't have to leave. He left because his buddy had to leave. And so he just trusted God and got in the boat. And they didn't know where they were going. They didn't know what they were doing. They just knew that they had to go far enough away that Colum Cille couldn't see Ireland. What trust! That's amazing trust. So I had to look up Saint Machar, because I don't really know anything about him, but that's the whole purpose of this study, is to learn what I don't know. And that's how I learned that he was a buddy of Colum Cille's, and he came with him to Iona, and then he went out and he went to the Isle of Mull, which is the little island next to it, and then he ministered there to the Picts, and then he went all the way to Aberdeen. And at the time, Aberdeen was considered the edge of the earth, right? Because we have the benefit of satellite imagery, and we know the Earth, right? We have maps and stuff. They had maps of the known world, which for them was this very small set of islands, Ireland, Scotland, England, Wales, right? They had this very small vision of what the whole world looked like. They didn't have the benefit of the internet or Grok or whatever, right? So, so in their eyes, he went to the edge of the earth to minister and to bring people into the kingdom of Christ. So I think it's like a really great story, a really great, as we head toward the coming of Christ, the coming of light, however you want to phrase it, a lot of times things are unknown. We have no idea what's in store for us, and we just have to trust. And we all go through things like that in our lives. Right now, I'm going through that right now with my own life, right? My position was eliminated, so I'm doing a first retirement, and I'm too young to really retire. And I've had a great career. I've done amazing things. I have, I'm leaving a great school, and it really has nothing to do with anything other than finances, because that's the way our world works, right? So I'm getting in the boat, and I'm going to trust God. And that's hard because I'm a planner. I wouldn't say that I'm a micromanager, because I'm not, of other people, but I'm a micromanager of myself. And I want to know the answer, and I want to know what I'm doing next, and I want to have a plan. And I'm okay if things fail, because I'll just try something else. If my rocket blows up, I'll just build a new one. Like I'm okay with trying something and not having it work. But I don't know what direction to go in, because I've always been in somebody else's boat. So, and they were directing the boat, and I was just one of the people paddling. So now that I have this opportunity to have my own boat, okay, let's go. But we choose. We choose to be scared, or we choose to be excited. We have that choice. And we have to bring that energy, that light, that little candle that we have to put in our boat. We have to take it with us, and hope that we find like-minded lights and candles along the way. So the theme for today is the Celtic theme that's not Christian, is the descent into winter's womb. We're going down that pathway into the Cailleach's area. So if you're not familiar with the Cailleach, she is the Celtic hag. She rules winter, and then in spring she turns into the goddess Bridget. And and she reminds us that we need winter. We need these cycles in our life, because we need things to die in order for things to grow. We've talked about that before in the channel. Sometimes you lose a friend that you've had for a long time because your friendship no longer serves either one of you, and it feels terrible at the time, but it's because you need to clear out to make room for a new friend, or, a job ends so that you can make room for a new opportunity, right? Things have to, otherwise we'd all be hoarders of experience and stuff, right? So things have to die and then be reborn. That cycle has to happen. And so the Cailleach, while she's depicted as this hag, and she's also the person who creates mountains and creates beauty, because we need that resting period so that seeds can be planted and new things can grow. And that is very much in line with what we think about Advent, that coming of the light each and every day, just a little bit more light until the light kind of shows up. So the prayer, which we say 3 times, we say, God to enfold me, God to surround me, God in my speaking, and God in my thinking, this night and ever. We say it a second time. God to enfold me, God to surround me, God in my speaking and my thinking, this night and ever. Then we say it a third time, because we do things in 3 in the Celtic world. God to enfold me, God to surround me, God in my speaking, God in my thinking, this night and ever. Amen. That comes from the Carmina Gadelica, which is a collection of prayers that were collected from the Hebridean Islands by a fellow named Alexander Carmichael. And that, I just love that, God to enfold me and God to surround me. And I was thinking about the difference between, what's the difference between enfolding and surrounding? Enfolding is all like all, right? Surround, we always think like this way, but enfolding is like, a big warm hug. So we're asking God to hug us, to surround us, and then to be with us as we speak and think, not just today, but every day. And again, you can replace God with whatever tradition you have, higher power, if you align with a god or goddess, or some kind of other figure or whatever. What is who is your truth bearer? Who is your light bearer? For me, it's God, through Jesus Christ, but for you, it can be whomever, right? So, who is that? Now the journal prompt for today is to draw the exact shape of the frost on my window. There wasn't frost on my window this morning, but I'm going to think about the promises that are made through Saint Machar, and just this idea of getting in a boat and trusting God. We all say that we would do that. Like if God came down and said, get in that boat, BRG, go. You'd be like, yes, I'd do it. Would you? Would you? Or would you be like, God, no, not. Where's that boat going? How am I going to eat? How am I going to go to the bathroom on that boat? How many days am I going to be in that boat? What if I get seasick? Right? We would have a million questions. How many of us would be willing to just jump in the boat and go? And especially when we don't have to. Colum Cille, he has to because he's been kicked out. But I don't have to. I wasn't kicked out. But Colum Cille is my friend. I'm going to go with him. Right? So there's a lot there that I think I can write about. The hymn is absolutely beautiful. I'm just going to show it to you. I'm not going to play it for you because it is 5 minutes long, but it is absolutely beautiful. And the images that they picked to go with it are just gorgeous. I will link it below so that you can go and listen to it. It's sung in Gaelic and a little bit of English. It's actually so beautiful. And then today's Gaelic phrase is Sláinte mór, agus ahula biraktu, which means great health and every good blessing to you. And so now I'm going to take time. I'm going to write in my journal here, and then I'm going to write in my physical journal. But I feel like, as we approach the light, right? Whether it's Yule that you celebrate, or Christmas, or if you're celebrating Hanukkah or some other tradition, we all have our little candle. And in my little candle, because I just lit it and I've had it for a while, right now it hasn't lit all of the wax on the top. It's just a teeny little flame. I wish I could show you. But you have to trust that eventually this wax melts and this candle gets used, and this candle's on its journey, right? It's on its journey toward Christmas Day, and we'll have to keep an eye on how it burns. I am wishing you all the very best in light and love. I'm so glad that you're joining with me to celebrate Celtic Advent. I'm wishing you all the best in light and love. Be well. Take care. Bye-bye. I almost forgot, one of the things that I think is really exciting that Grok suggested was creating a cairn of days. So I am marking stones each day, pebbles or stones, with the sign of a cross. And then I'm putting them into this lantern that belonged to my dad. And it's really old. It belonged to his great-grandparents. And then I'm putting each rock. So this is day 1, and I'm putting it into my lantern. And I'll put all 40 of them in there. So I wanted to make sure that I included that. So I want to thank you for joining me on this first day. We'll do this every day together for the next 40 days. I hope you'll join me for others. I am wishing you all the very best in light and love. Be well. Take care. Bye-bye.